welcome to SophieCo. I'm Sophie Shevardnadze. The long-standing alliance between Pakistan and the United States is faltering, with Washington accusing Islamabad of supporting terrorism. How serious is this bet, and what will that mean for America's Afghan war? Well, I asked Imran Khan, member of Pakistan's National Assembly and the leader of Pakistan's Movement for Justice.
A new turn in the never-ending Afghan war saga. With the U.S. accusing its old ally Pakistan of backing Afghan militants, billions in American security aid to Islamabad are now frozen. Will Pakistan be now forced to go to China and Saudi Arabia for help? What effect will the Pakistan-American quarrel have on the war against the Taliban, and how damaging will the fallout with the Americans be for Pakistan's own internal struggle with terror?
Imran Khan, member of Pakistan's National Assembly and leader of Pakistan Movement for Justice, welcome to the show. It's really great to have you with us today. Mr. Khan, Pakistani Prime Minister Abbasi has just paid a visit to Kabul. Now, the Afghans, like former Afghan intelligence chief Amrullah Saleh, are saying that Pakistan views Afghanistan as a weaker state, and its relations with Afghanistan are driven by sheer greed and arrogance. How can you strike deals with Kabul if they view Pakistan this way?
This is very unfortunate, the remarks of the Afghan intelligence chief to define Pakistan's relationship with Afghanistan in these terms is actually very unfortunate, because Afghanistan needs Pakistan, and Pakistan needs peace, stability in Afghanistan. Otherwise, Pakistan gets affected, especially along the border, what is called FATA, the tribal areas on the border of Afghanistan. So if you have problems in Afghanistan, instability, which sadly there has been for 16 years, Pakistan gets affected. So it's in Pakistan's interest that there's peace in Afghanistan. There is a problem there that, unfortunately, that the American policy of using a one-dimensional military solution to problems in Afghanistan has led to not only their longest war, but it has caused immense problems to Pakistan, because the border with Afghanistan is very porous. It is free movement, or there was free movement of people, and so what happens in Afghanistan affects Pakistan. So we need peace there, and I find these statements very sad.
I hear you. Talking about American policy, back in January, Donald Trump ordered billions of dollars in security aid to Pakistan to be frozen, accusing it of inaction in the war on terror. Former head of ISI, Asad Durrani, told me Pakistan's dependence on American aid ended a long time ago. So why then is your country's defense minister calling on the United States to reconsider the cut?
My point of view, this American aid has been very costly for Pakistan. For getting whatever aid we did get in these 15 years, the damage done to Pakistan in participating in the US war on terror has led to almost 70,000 people dead. It has devastated our tribal areas, the border areas, where half of the population, where we are talking about 3 to 4 million people, were internally displaced. And the loss to the economy is over $100 billion. So this small aid has been very costly. And the lesson learned from Pakistan's point of view is never fight someone else's war. And people like us always opposed it. And Donald Trump does not understand. He does not understand the history of Afghanistan. Afghanistan has a history where they do not accept foreigners. They have always resisted foreign invasions. And if he had even drawn any lessons from the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, before that, the British in the 19th century, their invasion of Afghanistan, he would know that this military solution, which Donald Trump also has tried, is going to fail. The only solution, the only way to bring peace in Afghanistan is all the neighbors to sit together and then come up with a political solution. There is no other solution apart from that.
So U.S. government is saying that anywhere from 50 to 70% of the aid sent to Pakistan was misspent, wasted on kickbacks, bribes, even stolen. Meanwhile, the Pakistani foreign minister says that the country is ready to account for every single penny. In your opinion, like once again, should there be more to this spat? I mean, should Americans put forth proof of corruption? Should Pakistan follow up and show actual accounting?
The aid given a proportion to the damage done in Pakistan by participating in the U.S. war, there is no comparison. The aid was what? They say about $20 billion, maybe $25 billion. Pakistan has lost over $100 billion. Our economy suffered, investment suffered. The damage done through terrorism meant that foreign investors weren't coming to Pakistan. Our tourism collapsed in this country. Even today, foreign cricket teams do not come and play in Pakistan, sports teams. So this country took a heavy punishment by participating in that war. And the money, as I said, the money coming from aid is a small pittance compared to what it cost the people of Pakistan.
So you have said that Trump is briefed by and working for the agenda of Pakistan's enemies. Whose agenda would that be?
Well, the things that Donald Trump has said, he's actually applauded India's role in the war on terror, and he's actually blamed Pakistan for the U.S. not winning in Afghanistan. Now, and then he's blamed Pakistan for terrorism. Now, this is exactly what India says about Pakistan. And so, therefore, it was extremely hurtful for people of this country that they participated in a war that was not Pakistan's war. There were no Pakistanis involved in 9/11. Al-Qaeda was in Afghanistan. There were no militant Taliban in Pakistan. How did we end up in a war where 70,000 Pakistanis have died? We still have terrorism in this country. We're still having the effects of this war on terror.
Mr. Khan,
So
are you saying India is duping American president into making a decision?
I don't know where he's come up with, but it's quite clear that the things he is saying is praising India, whereas India did not give any sacrifices in the war on terror. What role did India play in this whole war? It's Pakistan that took the battering, the suffering. And so to praise India is shocking for all of us. What has India contributed to this war on terror? And to give India a role in Afghanistan, India does not have a border with Afghanistan.
Pakistan's foreign minister says that the United States has turned Islamabad into a whipping boy to distract from its failures in Afghanistan. Do you agree? Is Washington looking to single out Pakistan to deter criticism?
Absolutely, I agree with it. Now, just look at the facts. At one point, there were 150,000 NATO troops in Afghanistan. And then the Afghan army is anything between 250,000 to 300,000. So you're talking about almost 500,000 armed forces in Afghanistan. And what the US blames Pakistan is that 2,000 or 3,000 insurgents coming from Pakistan to Afghanistan are the reason why Afghanistan could not win the war in Afghanistan.
Can the drop in American aid be countered by deals with Pakistan's newest friends like China or Saudi Arabia? Are you expecting their influence to rise now that the United States is on a collision course with Pakistan?
Firstly, what would the US do to be on a collision course with Pakistan? The maximum leverage the US has is to stop the aid. Pakistan should try everything to keep the US happy. But the problem is when the US expects Pakistan to win the mess it has made in Afghanistan, it expects Pakistan to somehow win the war which they're badly lost in Afghanistan. And when I say lost, I mean they haven't won. All the Taliban have to do to win the war is not to lose. So what the US expects Pakistan to do is what it has not been able to succeed in Afghanistan. And clearly Pakistan has limitations. And if Pakistan, what they want to do is to take action against these Taliban groups supposedly operating from Pakistan, well, then they should tell us where are these groups. They're talking about the Haqqani network. At its peak, the Haqqani network would have maximum 2,000, 2,500 men in Pakistan. That surely cannot be the reason why they've lost. They have not been able to win in 16 years. What I feel is that the American policy of military actions, collateral damage. I don't know whether you have seen in Kunduz, they bombed a madrasa, killed 100 children. Now that 100 children killed by American bomb means that this will raise hatred in Afghanistan, and hatred means more recruits, and so it's an ongoing circle. Collateral damage, hatred, more recruits, and an ongoing war. So the answer is that the US has to change its strategy, and that's going towards dialogue, political solution.
So the loss of US aid may not be a catastrophe for your country, but now Americans are considering provisionally putting Pakistan on the international terrorism sponsor list, the so-called grey list. You may think it is not fair to Pakistan, but how damaging would that be for the country, and dangerous?
I think it's very unfair on Pakistan, a country that participated in the US war, and I repeat, a country that had nothing to do with 9/11, and a country that lost more people than any other country. I mean, Pakistan lost more human beings, over 70,000 dead, vast number of them handicapped because of bomb blasts. For helping the American, for joining the American war, it bore the heaviest cost. And in the end, for the Americans to then blame Pakistan and put sanctions on it, I think this is the greatest travesty of justice. I think, it is something which is inconceivable that the US would, for its failure in Afghanistan, blame Pakistan.
But how damaging would it be, though? How damaging?
Well, it will be damaging. I mean, for Pakistan, unfortunately, our economic situation is not that strong right now. The country is actually going through an economic crisis. So American sanctions would be damaging. But, I mean, is this justice? Is it fair? Is this how US would use a country like a tissue paper, and when it thinks it doesn't need it anymore, it just casts it away? I think it's very immoral.
All right, Mr. Khan, we're going to take a short break right now. When we're back, we'll continue talking to Imran Khan, member of Pakistan's National Assembly and leader of Pakistan Movement for Justice, discussing tensions with Afghanistan and how this affects the power balance in the region. Stay with us.